Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, all praises for Allah, we seek His help, we seek His forgiveness, we seek refuge with Allah from the evil of our own souls and from our bad deeds. Whosoever Allah guides, no one can misguide. And who Allah misguides, no one can guide. I bear witness there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, who is one. There's no partners, no sons, no daughters. I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his slave and messenger. Islam, I praise Allah, alhamdulillah. How was everyone's lunch? I just had a good Somalian food. MashaAllah. I feel like I visited Somalia. I'm probably never going to get to visit Somalia. So Sweden is the next best thing. I just had a brilliant Somali food, but there was no banana. I was expecting a bit of banana with my food. Where's the banana?
Next time.
Next time, yeah? Cool. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. This, who was here yesterday when I done some poetry? It was nice and relaxed. I felt like I was at home in my bedroom, you know, just doing the poetry, nice and chilled, working on some new bits. Alhamdulillah. Today they've asked me to speak about the title From the Streets to Islam. I don't know if any of you have heard of this project we do in London called Roadside to Islam. You know, shouts out to Abu Bakr, a good friend of mine and brother in Islam. He'll be here actually next week on a different project. A lot of us wasn't born Muslims, wasn't born with any direction or guidance or understanding what is the true purpose of our lives. What are we here for? Why are we living? So we're placed here in this big world and we've got no direction whatsoever. However, I don't feel like this is just something of us, the non-Muslims that are placed in this world just to live, and we don't know what we're living for, we don't know why we're living, we don't understand our purpose of life. I also agree that some of the born Muslims also do not know their purpose of life, do not know why they're living or what they're living for. This is a transition we all have to make. Whether we're born into Islam or whether we revert to Islam, at some point in your life you change from your years of ignorance, your days of Jahiliyyah, where you don't know why you're living. Even if you're doing something like you're wearing a hijab, it might just be because your mum wears the hijab, or because they've told you to, or someone has told you to wear it, because you're still young. But then there comes a stage where you make that transition from them days of Jahiliyyah, that ignorance, to becoming a true slave, understanding your purpose. And that slave is the person who listens and obeys with no option. So whether the born Muslims will go for it, and the non-Muslims myself, like we say the streets to Islam thing, but I know there's enough Somali brothers out here, Swedish brothers out here. I was in Trinidad and Tobago in the summer. There's brothers in the Caribbean. I'm in Pakistan in the summer. I was in Malaysia. I was in Indonesia. I've been all over the world, and everyone makes this same transition from the streets to Islam. And when we say streets, what we mean is not necessarily a bad boy or a gangster or a thug, someone who kills people or does bad things or has a bad heart. Because I would say that I never, to my belief, my understanding, I never had a bad heart. I never wanted to cause harm to people. I never wanted to make people's life a misery. However, when we say the streets, it's just, we was in the less privileged households. We didn't have some of those nice things that other people had, so we spent all our time outside on the streets. Now, where I grew up, in South London, this is very common. And I don't know if you can agree with me, but I blame it on the lack of money. Some boys here might hang out on the streets a lot. You might see them outside the shops, but they're street kids. But it's not necessarily because they're bad. Some of the youth with money, whose family have wealth, what they do on the weekend or after school is they might go to horse riding lessons. Or they might go away with their family on holiday in the summer to Spain or to the Maldives or Caribbean islands on cruises. Or they might have tennis class or they have swimming practice. Like there's a lot of things that these families with a bit more money, they can afford to send their children to do to keep their children occupied. This is how they spend their time. Or when they're not doing all these things like their horse riding or tennis practice or squash or going on holiday with their family, they're in their house and they live in these big houses and they've got lots of games and different toys in their house. Now, when you grew up like myself, I didn't have no horse riding. There was no tennis practice for me on the weekend. There was no holidays in the sun during the summer. There was no computer games in my household. I didn't have none of these things. And none of my friends didn't have none of these things either. So we had a lack of money. So what did we do in the weekend? What did we do after school? We used to hang out on the street, because that was free. You stand outside and you make up games. Okay, let's make up a game. Your team has to chase our team. We call it run-outs. So we're just running around the estate playing a game. Let's play a game where we've got to run, we knock someone's door, and then when they come to answer, we run away. We call that knock down ginger. So we're making up our own games. This was our replacement for tennis and squash and horse riding. It's not because we're bad kids. We just didn't have as much as the other kids had. So we had to make do with what we did have, which was the air and the streets. However, when you're on these streets and you're hanging out with your other street friends and you don't have nothing, what's the first thing that starts to go through your mind? I want something. I want these things. You start to want for things in life. I want to be able to go and play tennis on the tennis court. I want to have a horse and go horse riding. I want to drive a nice car like that. I want to live in a better house like that. I want to have a new computer. I want new clothes. I want new trainers. I want all these things. Why do we want all these things? Because the way society has glamorized these things, it looks like these things are going to bring you happiness. Everyone just wants to be happy. Everyone just wants to be happy. That's all we want. But there's nothing wrong with that. We all want happiness. Even now that we're Muslims, we still just want happiness. So this is what we want. We want happiness. However, we don't know where happiness lies. So a lot of us search for happiness in all the wrong places. So us as street kids, we're like, yeah, I need money. I need new clothes, new trainers, new car, new house. These are the things I desired. Why? Because I'm attracted to that type of woman, these girls, and these girls like guys with nice things and nice cars, and this is what we need, this is what we want. And if I had a girl like that, I'll be really happy, because I'll be driving in my Mercedes and she'll be next to me, and I'll drive down the street and everyone will think he looks really cool, and I live in a big house, you know, with a balcony looking over the whole city. I'll be happy if I had this. This is how we think. We're not trying to hurt anyone, this is just what we think, this is where happiness lies. Where I grew up, what made me want that, it's not always just for materials. It's not always just so you can show off and have designer clothes. Sometimes we need money because we think it's a necessity. Like I was reading in this book, you need money to live, but you don't live for money. Sometimes it's not for designer clothes or a new car or a new house. Sometimes it's just for food to eat. You ever been out on the streets with your friends and your friends going into the food shop to buy something to eat, and you haven't got money to buy something? So you have to watch your friend eat that food. These things drive you to want you to go out and do things. Like my mum used to, when I was young, like 9 years old, and the door used to knock, I'd go to answer the door, because I'm just 9, I'm excited, I'm bored in the house, so anything happening is exciting. Oh, the door's locked, I'm going to get it, I'll get it. But my mum would drag me and go, shh, shh. Come here, sit behind the chair, sit behind the chair. So I'm thinking, Mum, why are you being quiet for? Why do you have to sit behind the chair? Sit behind the chair, shh. Why? Shh. So I'm sitting behind the chair. And the door knocks again. I'm looking at my mum like, look, the door's knocking. Someone's there. Do you want me to see who it is? She said, no. We borrowed money off this person last week, and today he wants the money back. So what we have to do is we have to hide here until he goes away. And hopefully he won't come back for a few days. Is he gone? Okay. Now we can act normal again. I don't like that game. I don't like hiding behind the chair because he's at the door. Why can't we just, where's your money, mum? You've got a job, why don't you pay him back? I ain't got money for shoes and school, much less to pay him back. We need this money for your dinner tonight. We need this money for that. Furthermore, actually go to the shop and get some stuff for dinner. Let me write a list of what we need. So mum writes a list of what we need and she gives me the note and says, go to the shop and get these things, but she don't give me no money. So I walk to the shop. I'm only 10 years old these times. I walk to the shop. I get in there and on this note it says, give my son these things and I'll pay you next week when I get paid. So now she's going to owe him money as well. So I walk in the shop. I've got pride. I've got pride. I don't want people to see me begging this man for things for free. So I walk in the shop and I wait till it's empty. Let me wait till everyone leaves. And when everyone leaves, I go up to the shopkeeper, I give him the note. I give him all the stuff that I want. And he looks at the note instead of money and he's like, you know, tell your mum next time I won't do this for her. She can't ask for this again. This is the last time. Now I want to say, do you know what? Keep the stupid stuff and push it on the floor. But I can't, because we need these things. And if I go home and the mum says, where's the things for dinner? And I said, I threw it on the floor and I told him, keep the stupid stuff, because he had an attitude problem. My mum's gonna probably have a big attitude problem with me, and I don't even want to say what she'll do. So the best thing for me to do is to swallow my pride and take this stuff and go home with it. But when I'm walking home, I'm upset. As a man, even though I'm only 9 or 10 years old, as a man, I'm upset. Why do we not have money? Why did I have to just ask this man for these things for free? Why did we have to hide behind the chair? So this is what drove me to want money. I need money. Because if we had money, everything will be okay. We'll be happy. I could say, here mum, here's some money for food. Here mum, here's money for electricity. Here mum, here's money for that. And I can buy new trainers and new clothes. But it wasn't necessarily to look cool with me. It was more for the necessities. However, when you go to an area, it's like, I'm going to Sweden, I'm coming to Sweden. Everyone in London's like, oh, you're going to Sweden. It's really nice there. I've been here before, I know what it's like. But what's their opinion of Sweden? They say to me, oh, it's a lot of like blonde women and blonde-haired men with blue eyes. It's all white people in Sweden. Like, that's what Sweden looks like. That's what we think Sweden is. But I get to Sweden, I'm walking around my area, and I haven't seen one white person yet. So I'm speaking to some of my brothers, I'm like, yo, what's this area called there? And he said, you're in the hood, man, you're in the hood. I said, yeah, I know, I'm used to this. This is like where I live in London. You'll think it's Jamaica. It's just full of Jamaicans. And then you go to another area, it's full of Nigerians. That's how it is. And then we've got one part of London which we call Somali Corner, which is just pure Somalians, yeah? So, I'm used to this. But what the government, what the people above us tend to do is, they put one standard of people all together. So they see, okay, you're all of a similar standard, you're all going to live in the same area. And they think this, and they divide us in classes. So this class of people will all be in another area, like where I live now in London, alhamdulillah, but alhamdulillah for poverty as well, it's just all white people. I stand out. It's higher class. I can't even get my hair cut in my area. I have to travel far to a barbershop because we don't have black barbershops in my area. So they put different classes in different areas. Now in the area I grew up, it was pretty much like this. It was the hood. So I needed money, but where was I going to get my motivation from? As a young street boy, where do we get our motivation from? Where do we get who are our role models? I'm going to tell you who. It's not our mums and dads, as there's any parents in here. My mum could tell me, I want you to go to school, and I want you to get a job, and do well in your exams, and I'll be proud of you. That's what my mum would say to me. My mum went to school. My mum's got a job. And she's telling me to do the same thing she done, but you look very broke, mum, and you don't look happy. You don't look happy in your life. Your life does not look cool. So you are not my role model. I respect you. However, this guy on TV is a rapper. He talks about hustling. He's talking about Ferraris and Jaguars switching 4 lanes and he's top down screaming out money ain't a thing. He's talking about we fly high, no lie, you know this, ballin'. Like, I want to do what he's doing, man. And this is my role model. I'm not being funny, but when I go to school, my science teacher or my maths teacher is trying to tell me to concentrate and to listen. I saw the car you drove into school this morning, maths teacher. I don't want to be like you when I'm older. You're not my role model. This guy on my estate that's driving this convertible BMW or this convertible Mercedes, or he's driving an R1 Yamaha motorbike with a girl on the back with a good body, he's selling drugs for a living. I want to live more like his life. So you got to understand, who are our role models? Who do we look up to when we're young, we're ignorant, and we're placed in this big world, and all we want is happiness. But we don't know where happiness is, but we know what it looks like, we don't know what it feels like. To us, it looks like that nice house and that nice car. It looks like that music video where he's living in a mansion, and he's got all these women in bikinis, and he's got swimming pools. This is what happiness looks like. So that's what we want, and that's who we're going to follow. I didn't have no one in my area who I could say, what do you do for a living, Paul? I'm a lawyer. Because lawyers don't live where I live. He wouldn't live there. I don't have another neighbor where I can say, what do you do for a living? He can say, oh, I'm a doctor. Doctors don't live in my area. So all my role models was poor. All the people who worked were poor. The only people who had money was the drug dealers, the criminals, the robbers, the fraudsters. So this is the line of work we wanted to take up. We see that it works. It's working, the proof is in front of us. Or I want to do what I can see them doing on the television. It looks like it's working. He has an amazing lifestyle. So this is what we start to do as young street kids, and this is the life we chase. And no one can't really tell us any different, because no one ain't putting nothing different and no alternatives in our hand. I don't want to commit crimes for the fun of it. I don't want to commit crimes because it makes me look cool. I want to commit these crimes because it's going to put money in my pocket today. And unless you can put money in my pocket another way, then I'd rather not hear what you've got to say. So we're doing these things in pursuit of happiness. Trying to get happy until what happens is you become successful in these things. You start to have the things you wished for and dreamed for, but the happiness doesn't enter your heart. So now I'm a teenager. Let's skip a few years to 17, 18 years old, where I've got a Mercedes, a motorbike, my own studio, expensive one, status, and attention from a lot of people. I was well known by this age, but I wasn't happy. I would walk to a shopping centre, no word of a lie, 16 years old. If I go into a shopping centre, I used to get a big crowd following me because I was in the shopping centre in London. Big crowd of people. We was known, I was very, very well known for who I was and things I was doing on the streets. I'm not talking no rap star fame, I'm talking on the streets. So now, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't content. So when we don't have this contentment and you don't have this happiness, well, it went for me. You don't have this contentment, you don't have this happiness, you start to ask yourself questions. Well, what is this life all about? I don't understand. What am I here for? What is the purpose of this life? This is when you start to question yourself. Now this is when I was saying you go through that transition, and everyone goes through it, whether we're born Muslim or reverse. Because the beginning of our life is ignorance. That's why if we die, we pass away before we hit puberty or before we reach a certain stage, they say you're still guaranteed to go to paradise because you're not accountable for your actions, because you were still a minor. You wasn't an adult yet. But there comes a time when you go through that transition from a child to an adult. And I think as I was making that transition, these questions were starting to play in my mind. Well, what is the purpose of life? What am I living for? I don't understand. Why am I here? What is this life all about? I don't get it. I make money, I spend money. I eat food, I go to the toilet, the food comes out. I go to sleep, I wake up. This is just a cycle. What is the purpose of this life? You live, then you die. And that's it. But that's what we think. We think that's it. Because before Islam, you don't have no knowledge of anything bigger. So I used to think that before I was born, it was just blank. And after I die, it's just going to be blank again. So we don't respect life. We don't care about life. We just say get rich or die trying, or we only live once and we're just going to live this life. If I die tomorrow, who cares? I won't know because it'll just be blank. Because we don't know about the soul. And this event, when I see the title, The Journey of the Soul, it's deep because this is one of the first lectures I ever listened to by a Jamaican speaker, The Journey of the Soul. And I remember him saying, after the first 40 days, Allah commanded the angel to blow the soul into the womb, and this soul will never die after that. Once the soul is blown into the womb, the soul never dies. So then the soul is born, and then you're living in this life, and we've got angels writing down everything we do while we're in this life. And after you die, then the soul is dragged from the body and taken up to the heavens. But depending on how you live your life will determine how that soul is removed from your body. They say like for the bad soul, it's going to be like rough, ripped from the body, and you'll know this was a bad soul and taken up to the heavens, and this soul will smell such a way that the angels are going to be saying, whose soul is this? Who is this soul belong to? And you will be known by all the names you was known as in this life. That is the soul of such and such. Your father's name, the daughter of such and such, whoever your father is. She is the, or he is the, and whatever you was known as, the hypocrite, the liar, the bad person, the ungrateful one. This is whose soul it is. And then you're taken up to the heavens, and then we know the story of your books given to you in your right hand or your left hand, and this will determine then your soul return back to the earth and you go to the grave. And then when you're in that grave, the soul is going to hear the footsteps of the people leaving your janazah. And then the questions come to you when the soul is in the grave. The questions about your religion and your Lord and your messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And you will not answer these questions when you're in the grave from your tongue. You're going to answer these questions from the heart, according to it's easy to say, Allah is my Lord, Islam is my religion, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the final messenger of Allah. It's easy to say that from the tongue, but each statement from the tongue must be accompanied by sincerity of the heart and be followed up by actions of the limbs. So how was you living in this life? How was you living in this life? That's how you will answer accordingly. Your heart, you might have been very much interested in money. You might have been very much interested in women, very much interested in music or all these different type of, whatever you put first, that's what your heart's going to speak out. Fashion is my religion. Money is my religion. My friends are my messenger. I listen more to my friends. I live more for my friends. Whatever. That's how the heart's going to speak. And then we know the grave is either going to become very small or it's going to become very big. May Allah make ours wide and like the gardens of paradise. Ameen. And then after this, Judgment Day. More will happen. I'm not going to go through it. I'm not the sheikh giving the lecture, but I'm telling you what I was listening to, which was changing me. And then we know on Qiyamah how everyone's going to be raised up naked. Now I'm hearing these stories at that age of 19 when I was questioning, well, what is the purpose of life? What are we living for? I don't understand. I'm hearing this now for the first time by a Muslim. But I didn't even know he was a Muslim. He came into the studio where I made music and he's talking to us about life. What is the purpose of life? And we start saying, I don't know. And then he starts saying, do you know this soul? And and he gave me the tape, Journey of the Soul, by this guy. and he started talking about Judgment Day. He gave me a tape about Judgment Day. So he was giving me these tapes. I was listening to them. But this started making me think, wow, there's more to this life. There's so much more to this life. So we come from a God, a creator. And we're here to worship that God, that creator. And after we die, we're going to return to that creator on this day. And I remember once we're sitting in the room and he started telling me about this day. All of us, young street boys, telling us about this day in the studio. And I'm telling you, we're smoking weed. We used to have drink in the studio. This was our den. Music playing. But now he's talking about this day. He's saying, on that day when the souls are raised, and a baby's hair is going to turn grey because he's terrified. And the mother's going to run away from her own child because she don't even recognize them on this day. And you're going to be naked, all of you completely naked. And I'm thinking, wow, we're all naked and everyone's there, yeah? And he's saying, yeah, but you won't even be interested. You won't even be interested because you're going through so much terror and fear. And the people who made themselves so big in this life are going to be so small in the next life. And all that stuff, all those materials you love and you long for and you live for, those houses and those cars and all that will be piled up on your back, weighing you down. You'll have to account for every penny you spend in this life. Now this is hitting us, like, especially the ones who are smoking weed. You're like, oh, boy, this is deep. This is deep. You know what I'm saying? But it penetrates the heart. It penetrates the heart because when you come from this life we're living as youngsters with nothing, we ain't got nothing. It is here. This gives you something. This gives you something. When you ain't got nothing. I never had nothing right now. What did I have? Nothing. I never had family. My mum, my sister. We're all we got. We're in this life just trying to put £2 together so we can see another day. We don't understand this life. We ain't got nothing. So when someone's talking to you about this, you understand something. You understand, okay, so there's a reason for us being here. And all this injustice, which we see as injustice, like, why is our country poor and their country rich? Or why is they got this and we've got that? And why did this one have this and this one had that? All this injustice, this don't make sense. It starts to make sense when you realize this Qiyamah is going to come, this judgment day is going to come, and everything will be justified. You will understand why you went through certain punishments in this life. Why you was blessed with wealth to be tested, what you're going to do with it. Why you had to have a sister who was disabled to test you to your patience and how you're going to look after her. All these different situations. So it started to become clear my purpose in this life. And I started to understand my purpose of living. Okay, so we come from a God. And we're here to worship that God. And after we die, we return to that God. And it doesn't matter if I achieve all my dreams. It doesn't matter if I have money. It doesn't matter if I'm broke. All that matters is that I do good things for this God. That's it. So now I don't mind as much. I want to take my shahada. Because I definitely believed in God. I definitely believe He exists. Because just looking at the human body, look at these hands with a thumb. Imagine no thumb. Like, it's a miracle. This is amazing, this human body. Of course there's a God. You don't have to give me dawah to prove to me there's a God. I don't need to read anything. I am dawah. I'm walking dawah that there's a God. Just the fact that my heart's beating and my eyes are blinking and renewing the fluid in them every time I blink, and I can see clear and I can zoom in and zoom out. It takes me years to build cameras and stuff like this and memory sticks. I've got memory. This is definitely created by God. I don't need dawah. So you're telling me that, okay, that God that created me is saying that I come from Him and I have to return to Him, and while I'm here I have to worship Him. I don't need dawah for that either. Of course I'll worship that God that created me, that made me. Just like that mum that used to send me to the shop and I'd go even though I didn't want to go. It's because, of course, that's my mum. She made me. I came from her. I have to do as she says. So of course I'm going to do as this God says. So this is my purpose, worship God, and when I die, I return to Him and He gives me a reward of paradise. What's this paradise like? And you start reading about paradise, like Juz Amber and these Juz where it talks about these gardens with rivers flow and you're going to drink this wine and not get drunk and it's going to be perfect. boy, for someone who's coming from poverty and from those streets of hardship and crazy life, this sounds amazing. Oh, take me there today. I need this paradise. I want to take my shahada. I want to be a Muslim. Khalas, I'm ready. And this is why all the street kids are becoming Muslims, because we didn't have nothing. And now we long for something, this paradise. So around 2002, I took my shahada. All the way to 2004, there was a rise of the Muslims in the UK. I was on a mission. You read about it on Google, in the newspapers. They say the story of the Muslim boys. Yeah, it started from a music gang, that was my gang. And then once I became a Muslim, I went around to all the streets and I was saying, listen, Shahada, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've needed. And I started wanting to spread this, me and my lot, until they said, this is the rise, this is crazy. We haven't seen anything like this since the IRA, they were saying. So alhamdulillah, now I found this purpose, Islam. There's a transition stop there. Can I come on stage now and speak about it now? Oh, I went from the streets to Islam and speak to others about this journey and help them. Nah, it doesn't go like that. The transition don't stop there. The test doesn't stop there. You don't take the shahada, khalas, alhamdulillah, now I'm going Jannah. This is when the test starts. This is when the test starts. Now I've chosen a name. I sat in a room where I took my shahada. I sat in a room. They're giving us food. This is my first experience of Islam. I was in a night tracksuit. I remember I'm sitting down and there's people of all different classes, colours, ages. I'm thinking, wow, we look like a weird gang. This guy's Somalian, he's Asian, Turkish, all different ages. Everyone's dressed funky. But, okay, I came here to take my shahada. I sat down. They said, do you want to eat some food? Yeah, let's eat some food. So he dishes out food. And he puts it on his big plate of food in front of us. And then he goes and throws down loads of spoons. And then he says, okay, eat brother, eat. The brother next to him, eat brother, eat brother. I said, where's my plate? I need a plate. He's saying to me, no, we're all going to eat from the same plate. So we're all eating from the same plate. I'm like, whoa, this guy's not even using the spoon. He's kind of straight in with his hand. And you know, I'm not gonna say anything to offend any races, but certain races. So I'm like, whoa. Surely this ain't hygienic. I can't eat from this now. So I'm looking and keeping my eye on him. Where's he putting his hand? If he touches that bit of meat, no, I'm okay, brother. I don't want that piece of meat now. I don't want that. I'm okay. So I'm watching what I can eat. But this is my first experience of Islam. We finished the meal. Halfway through the meal, I start to feel like, do you know what? There's a lot of love in this food here. There's a lot of love in this food here because we're sharing it. I'm sharing this food with people I just met. And the love feels amazing. So I finish and I take my shahada. And everyone was hugging me and embracing me like I'd done something amazing. You're a new person. And then someone said to me, you need to pick a new name. What's your name? I said, my name's Ashley. He said, Ashley? What about a Muslim name? Arabic name? I think Belal. Belal is a nice name for you. I was like, Belal? Nah, I don't like how it sounds. Because this is what we care about. The sound of things and how things look. And it wasn't the meaning, didn't mean anything to me. I said, can't I pick a different name? And he gave me a book of names. So I'm looking through. Talib, yeah, I like that one. Or Hamza, the lion, yeah, Hamza, I like that one. And he says, no, Belal, take Belal, please. It's a very nice name. Belal, trust me, brother. And I'm like, he's determined for me to have Belal, ain't he? I don't want Belal. So then I go, what does Belal mean? And he says, oh, Belal ibn Rabah, Muazzin Rasul, he had an amazing voice. He used to call the adhan, you know, the call to prayer. He used to call people to come to success. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah. Come to good work, come to pray. And his voice was so beautiful, calling people to good. They used to cry. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would cry at his voice. And he was a black slave. He was a black slave that reverted to Islam. So I said, you know what, let me take Belal. That's me. I'm a black slave. I converted to Islam. And I'm trying to call people to this good stuff. Let me take this name, Belal. So I said, can I have another name though, to add to it? And he said, yeah, no problem. So I was looking through, Belal Sufyan, this, no. Then I saw Muslim. I said, Muslim? That's not a name. He said, of course, his name's Islam. You can have Muslim as a name. I said, do you want this as your name? Belal Muslim? I said, yeah. No, not Belal Muslim, Muslim Belal. So alhamdulillah, I walked away from there with this new name, Muslim Belal. So everyone's calling me Muslim. Yo, Muslim, where are you? And they asked me to talk in the mosque about this transition from the streets to Islam. But this is what's deep now. As I was just saying, is that the journey? Is that the transition from the streets to Islam? And does it stop there? And now do I stand on a pedestal, on a platform and talk to everyone else down there about how I did this and inspire these youngsters to try and do the same thing I did? I'm still going through this test. We're still going through this test. Just because I've got the name now, it doesn't mean I've got the t-shirt now, this is my path to Jannah. Now Shaitan is ready to attack. He said, I'm going to attack the believers from left, from right, above and below in ways which they do not even recognize. Now the test starts. I chose this name Muslim. As a revert, a lot of people who are born Muslims, they look at these reverts and they say, MashaAllah, you know, the reverts seem to take their religion so seriously, MashaAllah, like I love these revert brothers or revert sisters, they're doing so good, like they put us to shame, like this is what a lot of born Muslims say. Because the reverts, I don't know if there's any reverts in here, but what we do is the day when we take our Shahada and we make that declaration of faith, we make a decision to sign a contract with Allah. We say, as of now, I'm going to be a slave of Allah. I'm going to be your slave now. I'm giving up my desires because everyone's a slave of something. What did my brother Abdul Green tell me? What he said, there's 3 types of slave. He said, you're either a slave of the people, where you do things to please the people, or you're a slave of your desires, where you do things to please yourself, or you're a slave of God, where you do things to please Allah. So I was a slave of my desires, sometimes a slave of the people. I do what I want to do. This is nice, I want that. This looks good, I want to wear that. That looks like a nice place to go, I'll go there. Or no, I don't feel like going there, I'm tired. Whatever you feel like doing, that's what you do. But this day when you declare your faith and you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, is the day that you say, I am now a slave of Allah. I'm now going to do what Allah wants me to do, not what I want to do. I might want to do this, I might want to do that, but I can't because I'm a Muslim and I have responsibility as a Muslim to do what Allah wants me to do. So I made that decision, I made that contract on that day. So now I read the book and it's like, what do I have to do? And it says that I have to, okay, I have to do this, I have to eat this food, I have to do this in my right hand. So this is us as reverts, we're doing everything literally. I have to do this, I have to do that. Oh, I can't talk to these girls no more. Oh, I have to get married. Okay, I'm going to go and do it. Oh, the big extravagant weddings Allah don't like. Okay, I have to do a simple one. Oh, simple weddings is best. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, we do this. Oh, it's not good to be racist. Okay, I won't be racist. You're just following everything you see. I've declared my faith. I've decided to be a Muslim. Now, that's it. So now the test starts, and if you don't follow these rules, then you're not a true slave. You're not a true slave. I don't know if you've read a book, I recommend it. It's by Ibn Taymiyyah, Being a True Slave of Allah. Amazing book. When you're feeling low, you read this, it revives you. But yeah, are we being a true slave of Allah? Because I've got a friend, my friend in Morocco, I love to visit him, and he's got like a butler. He's got a butler. And every time he needs something, he calls his butler. No, like, true stories. I won't say his butler's name, I don't want to reveal no one, but let's say his butler's name's Abdullah. He'll be like, Ya Abdullah! Hey, Abdullah, come. And Abdullah will come straight away. He say, get me, Belal wants to drink this, and Abdullah will go and he'll make the stuff and he'll come back. If the door knocks, you'll hear Abdullah's feet, and he'll go to the door. If if his phone's ringing somewhere and he can't find it, and he goes, Abdullah, Abdullah, you wait a while, Abdullah, and then you hear him coming. Now, that's how he is. He just does everything we need him to do. Now, if one day I was to come and I was to say, hey, how you doing? Assalamu alaikum. He's like, alaikum salam, Belal, how are you? Do you want anything to drink? I say, yeah, I could do with a nice fresh lemon juice. Okay, 1 second. Abdullah, yeah, Abdullah. And then Abdullah comes and he goes, make Belal a nice fresh lemon juice, please. And he says, no. I'm tired. I'm gonna go and watch a TV show instead. What do you think will happen? We'll sit there like, what just happened? What do you mean? But he's meant to be a slave. He's meant to be a butler. This is not true. So this is us as Muslims. Allah's given us these commands and given us these rules. Do we think we have an option to say no? No, I don't feel like it, or no, I'm not ready yet. Later on in life. So I realized that the test is going to be hard. As soon as I took this Shahada, I knew this test was going to be super hard. And, you know, they started telling me the rules. When I went into it first, I didn't see all these rules. But when I started seeing the rules, this is haram. You know you can't do this no more, brother. You know this is haram, brother. You know this is haram, brother. You know you're not allowed to do that. You know you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to go there. You're not allowed to, you're not allowed to, you're not allowed to. For real, I'm like, whoa. How am I going to be a decent Muslim? This is too hard. I'm a young street boy, raging with desires. How can I follow these steps? How can I become someone who follows all these rules? How can I do this? I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail. As a youngster, we've got way too much desires. I love music. I love it. I love it. I don't even watch other things on TV. I go straight to the music channel. I go straight to the music channel. I just want to hear that. This is what I love. This is enjoyment. I love watching those films where they're swearing and it's crazy. I love watching this stuff. I'm a youngster. As young people, this is what we like. We've got a lot of energy. But they're telling me everything's haram. How am I going to be able to fulfill this? How am I going to be able to be a true slave of Allah? And then as youngsters, with this energy that we've got to always want to go and do things, we've also got that energy with our tongue and that energy with our attitude as well. So we also heed, like if I am not following these things right, I walk into a masjid and there's another youngster who can see that I'm not doing everything I'm meant to do. Like I used to wear a Rolex with gold in it. Then it was fast, like I felt like I walked in the mosque and it was like, everyone just ran towards me, bro, that's haram, you can't wear that on your wrist, you can't, bro. All the youngsters are coming up to me like, whoa, what did I do wrong? They were quick to tell me, you can't wear that, you know you're not allowed that, bro. You know you're not allowed to do this, bro, you're not allowed to do that. I was like, okay. But we've got this energy about us. But when I was living in Kuwait with a teacher, MashaAllah, Abdullah Farsi, beautiful teacher, I studied with him, Aqidah, 3 hours a day. And one of the students came to the class and he used to wear a gold chain. And the teacher never said nothing to him. I was thinking, ain't he going to tell him that this chain's haram? Like he's not meant to be wearing it as a man, it's gold. And he had a ring on as well that was gold. So he used to come to the class every day and the teacher never said anything. Until one day he was going through this book and he went for a story and it mentioned gold. And then the American guy, the student who was wearing the gold chain and the ring, he went, SubhanAllah, that means I gotta start wearing this gold chain then. And I better take off this ring. And then the teacher was like, oh, yes, of course. But you know, it's a nice chain, let me see it, very nice. Maybe you can put it in a box and have it at home on your side, or it's very nice. And he went, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I better take it off. And I was like, SubhanAllah, you see the wisdom? You see the hikmah? Make him come to London with that chain on. Yeah? Watch how fast a reaver who took his shahada a week ago is going to run up to him and go, Assalamu alaikum, brother, I just wanted to let you know that chain's haram, yeah? You can't wear that. And that ring is haram, take it off, bro. I'm just giving you some advice. This is just some nasiha, brother. Akhi, take it off. So like, But this is how we are, isn't it? But now I learn there's a difference between this knowledge and wisdom. I'm young now and I'm getting this knowledge and I'm finding these rules hard, but you think that I'm acting like I just graduated from Medina University. But really I'm nothing. And then of course I'm going to find it hard. Of course I'm going to find it hard. I've still got my street friends all around me. I still got my desires all around me. I still got my distractions all around me. Those girls have still got my number in their phone. They're still texting me and phoning me. Of course it's going to be hard. So what do? You have to seek knowledge. This is the step. You have to seek knowledge. This is the first condition of your shahada, is to seek knowledge. Because with knowledge, what did Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, say? She said, if they came to us with the rules first, we would have all ran away. We would have all run away if they came to us with the rules first. It's like, first we learned faith. And then our faith became so strong. After years and years of learning faith, it was like 6 years before a new command came, that when the rules came, when the command came, after their faith was so high, they start to listen and obey with no option. Tell the believing women to cover themselves. They're ripping their cloaks and putting it over their hair with no option, because they had so much faith now. So I needed to build up my faith. And how was I going to do that? With these streets all around me and still calling me back. I got a teacher that was outside of my area in central London. And I used to go to this teacher and I said, can you teach me? Privately. I don't want to be in a classroom. I'm not used to classrooms. I didn't go to school like that. So the teacher was teaching me privately 2 days a week. 2 days a week. And then I'm learning Arabic and Quran. And it was nice for me because I was away from all my friends. And these are the steps you have to take. If you want it, you have to push for it. My iman was going up. However, one day, it's like I was late for class. I was late for prayer. I was on my way to my class, so I stopped at the masjid to pray quickly. And when I finished praying, I'm walking back to the car, and I see a girl that I used to really like. And I was like, this ain't a good time to see her. I've got this phobe on. And she's not Muslim or nothing. This is from my Jahiliyyah. And she's like, Ashley. Just grabbed me, big hug. My whole body was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. She's like, how you been? How's everything? I'm thinking, can't you see this gown I'm wearing? Like, can't you see the big changes I've made? But it's like Shaitan sent her for me on a mission. What's your number? I'm going to call you. So now I got back in the car and I was thinking, why do I have to see her now, man? I used to want to see her all the time. And I never see her. She never showed me interest. Now that I'm trying to focus, I bump into her. Driving, Shaitan, deep. Got my Quran playing though. Moshe Rashid Al-Fasi I used to listen to. He's got me. Okay, I'm back in the zone. Let me go to my class. Then my phone rings. Where are you? Where are you? I said, I'm on my way to central London. Put the radio on. Put the radio on. What channel? Why? Put the radio on now. Switch off the Quran. I'm looking for it. Then I heard me on the radio. Some rap song I used to do. Yeah, and she's talking over us and she says, I'm hoping this is the latest track from from this group, and I'm hoping to hear more from him soon. He's one of the best UK rappers at the moment. So then he's like, bro, you got to do something. You got to give her a next song. You got to release more music. Still driving to my class. See how Shaitan is just trying to attack me from all these different directions. So when I get to my class now, my teacher's teaching me, Kul al-Qariya, al-Qariya, and I'm there like, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِيَةُ. But my head is still thinking about the girl, my head's thinking about the music, and he's like, Belal, Kul al-Qariya, mal-Qariya, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْقَارِيَةُ. Like, and he says, Belal, you've got distractions. Your friends, I feel like you just want to look at your phone every minute. You're not in the room. Your body's in the room, but your head is somewhere else. You grew up here in London. This place is distracting you. You need to get away. So cutting a long story short, he said, I'm from Egypt. He's Egyptian. And he said, why don't you go to Egypt? These are the steps you have to make. Before I knew it, within a week, of that conversation with him, I was in Egypt. And to conclude, when I was in Egypt, I was the first time I felt inner peace and I felt happiness. And what's strange is this. I started off my story telling you about the things I used to do in pursuit of happiness and the things we wanted and the things we dreamed for and wished for and lusted for. And I had all of these things. I've been through everything you can even think of in my life. I've had it. When it comes to money, like, I've been through it, I've seen it. But in Egypt is when I was content. And literally all I had was a small flat, which was fresh though, and clean, a nice balcony, and from my balcony, I could hear about 50 masjids calling the adhan at the same time. It was coming from every angle. And I used to just hear that. And downstairs from me was a family. The son was called Ahmed and the daughter was called Mia. And every time I used to go to pray, I used to stop off and play with Ahmed and Mia for a bit. And the joy that it brought to my face when I saw them happy, when I saw how happy they was, and I'd just buy them a sweet or something cheap, this is what made me feel happy and feel peaceful and content. I'm going to pray now, then I'm going to play with Mia and Ahmed, then I'm going to go up to my flat, and I had no worries, no stresses, and I felt like I was on the path of Allah. So this just shows your contentment, where true contentment and where true happiness lies. It's not in none of these things that we lust for and we long for. It's in the simplicity. This life is a journey, and all we need while we're here is the simple things, and all the luxurious things will be there for us in the next life. I think, yeah, alhamdulillah. Then I started rapping about it, which is what I was doing yesterday. But I don't think there's time for me to do any rapping today. So, alhamdulillah, I hope it was beneficial for you. So, and yeah, I fly back to London today. So, thank you for having me, Sweden. Assalamu alaikum.